I got another old DVD player from way back. This one's a 300 disc changer. It'll play audio CDs as well as DVDs, and you can load 300 discs. Actually 301, because you can load 300 discs in it, and it's got a slot to load a single disc, which is kind of cool. This has got some pretty unique features and some limitations. Let's check it out and see if it works. Check out what I've got. This is a big box, a big black box. And it's got a copper back and a bunch of outputs. It's got an audio input. Do you wonder what that's for? It's got audio in, a coaxial out, optical end, and coaxial. Audio out, digital output. 2 audio output, a 5.1 channel output. Video out, 2 of them. S-video out, 2 of those. Component output, mega control in, and S-link. This is the DVP CX870D. There's remote control for it. If you guessed the DVD player, you're right. It is. But it's not just any DVD player. Oh no! This one holds 300 discs. It's got Dolby, digital, and DTS. It has a 5.1 channel decoder for DVD. And what is this open for? You can plug a keyboard in so you can name your discs. It takes a standard PS2 type keyboard. On the front, we've got our navigator, direct search, disc change, open, close, and the basic buttons. Jog dial on the front as well. And a standard control here. 4-way button press in to enter, and a dial. And I don't know if this works. I got it for nothing, so I have to assume that there's something wrong with it, because a unit like this, typically somebody wouldn't throw something like this out if it was useful, because you could use it as a multi-disc CD changer as well. So before I even attempt to power it up, we're going to remove the top cover and take a look and make sure that there's nothing that is damaged on it before I get started. So here is the big reveal. Probably less in there than you thought there would be, right? For you guys that are more used to seeing the conventional Mega Changer CD player, which had the pickup, the laser pickup over in the corner, and the disc rotated around, and then it pulled the disc into the mechanism. The chuck was in the back and the mechanism was in the back. For those of you guys used to seeing that, this might look a little bit different, and that's because the mechanism is right here in the middle. Now, the reason that the mechanism is in the middle is because this is what they call a 300 plus 1. So you can have this thing loaded with 300 discs, but there's also a single disc slot. So if you only want to play a single disc, you can load it. The entire idea behind that was, this is not being used as a 300 disc DVD changer. You could load 300 movies in it, but most people would not be using something like this to load 300 DVDs. They would load it up with 300 CDs, music CDs, use it as a jukebox, and use the single slot when they want to watch a movie. They just hit that +1 button, it'll open it up, and then you can load it. It also has mega control, which means that this can control another CD changer. So right now I have 200 disc CD changers. One is the controller, the other one is the, I was going to call it's the client. We used to call one the master and the other the slave, but we can't use those terms anymore. Otherwise, somebody will show up at your house and, I don't know, burn a flag in front of you or something, right? But anyway, so we call them the controller, the main and the client, or the host and the client, or the controller and the client. This machine here would operate, I think this one would operate, well, it could operate as either. It could operate either as a client or as a controller, but you could load this one up and have it control another player. So you could have, well, I could plug this into one of my 200 disc changers, for example, which I have another one. I have 3 200 disc changers. 2 of them are in operation, and I have one sitting right next to me here, and now I got this one. This one could be set up as a 300 disc controller for the 200, and that would give a total of 500 audio CDs, plus it could still play a DVD. So this one might be a smart one to put in the house and set it up so that I could use it as a DVD player for, say, my projector, which I don't use. But anyway, it gives me that option. I haven't plugged it in yet. We're going to do that now, and I'm going to turn it on and see whether it does anything. And hopefully it works, but because it was free, I have a sneaking suspicion that there might be something wrong with it, but I might be wrong. So I'll turn on the power, and it says standby, and then the power goes off. Okay, if I hit the open close button, I got a DVD video screen on the TV, and it says it's in DVE virtual CD, or virtual 3D sound, I should say. It's opening. Oh, cool. Oh, cool. So, let's see how this works. Okay, this encoder probably needs to be cleaned. It says, do not insert anything other than a DVD, audio CD, or video CD. Inserting any other object may damage the player. So I guess it doesn't play MP3 discs. I guess we can try it and see. But I got a warning there telling me not to do that. Telling me that it's only for a DVD, audio CD, and video CD. But we can always give it a go and see what happens. The dial here and also on the remote control, this selects the location of the disc. You can load your disc up here, or your discs up. You just dial it to what disc you want. So for example, if I dial this up to disc 200, dial it all the way up to disc number 200, and it would go to disc number 200 and wait for me, and disc 200 is right there. So it knows what slot it's at. If I take it up to disc 245, it will spin to disc 245. Oops. If I hit the open close button, it will open. There's a slot on here marked Easy Play, which you would load a disc in to play a single disc. So let's try that. I'm going to try a DVD-R and see whether it will play that. There's an eject button on here too. That just takes the disc out. I guess that's chucked in the disc chuck. I'm going to grab a few discs. We'll load a few discs and see whether this thing works. And hey, I may have scored another one that works. And that would be incredible if I scored a unit like this that worked, because I don't really want to have to do work on it. I see it's got some of our favorite capacitors on the side. Hopefully they're not bad, but let's load up a few discs and see what happens. So let's start out with an audio CD. That's on a CDRW. We won't start with that one yet. Let's just start with a regular audio CD. And I'm going to load it in. I don't even know which way the label goes in. Make sure the playback side facing left. What? With the playback side facing left. Okay, so it goes in. They go in label facing right. The laser's on this side. So the playback surface is the surface without the label. I'm going to throw this in the Easy Play slot and hit Easy Play, and then see what happens when I push play. It'll probably close the door, which it does, and it's going to suck the disc in. And this is an audio CD that should start playing. Which it does. If I open, it's going to put the disc back into the Easy Load slot first, and then open so that I can remove the disc. I will then try an audio CD that was recorded on a CDRW. Will it play an audio CD on a CDRW media? Well, I guess we'll find out real quick. I think that answers that question. It does play audio CDs recorded on CDRW media. Now it's direct search. So now I can track search. So that works. Let's remove that one. This has got to be one of the slowest mechanisms I think I've ever seen. I'll put these into different slots once I verify that what it can and can't read. So that's an audio CD that's burned onto a CD-RW. Next is a irregular DVD. We know it's going to play that, but we'll just verify that it can play a stamped disc. For those who want to question how long a CD-RW is good for, I have one recorded in 1997 that still plays flawlessly today. So the question is it going to read a DVD? We know that the CD part works. Seems like it's taking a bit of time to read that disc, so maybe the DVD portion has a problem. Okay, that's an awful long time that this is taking to read that disc. And I know the disc is okay, and it's a factory stamped disc, so there's no reason it won't play it. Okay, I've come to the conclusion that this has a problem with the DVD reading capability. We'll try a different disc in it. I will try loading up a burned disc now, and we'll see whether that can be read, but it certainly did not read the store-bought disc at all. The store-bought disc was a dual layer, but that shouldn't make any difference. DVD should be able to read a dual layer disc, no problem. And it reads the burned disc. So what gives? This was recorded on my Toshiba DVD recorder on a DVD-R, and it reads it just fine. Let's see if I can get to the next track. Okay, how do I select the next one? Oh, I'll do it that way. Okay, and then press it in. That's the next speed down. And then the next one, that was XP, SP. This is the LP speed. This is the machine that had 10 hours recording. That's why I did this. That was the LP speed, which is the 4-hour speed. And then I went down to the 6-hour speed. And we'll watch the quality drop as I went down through the different speeds. This was recorded on a Toshiba that had the 10-hour speed. So that was a 6-hour speed. Next is the 8-hour speed. Yeah, it's getting pretty rough. And then, of course, I did a recording in the 10-hour speed. Just so you can see how virtually unusable this machine was. Or I shouldn't say the machine, the speed. I guess if you were just using it to record a security camera and you were going to use a blank DVD, which is what some people did, some stores did, believe it or not, back in the day, before we had hard drive based recorders, when everybody was still dealing with videotape to record the operation in their store, in their business. They would use a DVD recorder like the Toshiba, the one that I have, that has the 10-hour speed, and then they could load a DVD-RW and let it go for 10 hours. Their store may have only been open during the day, right? They could have their entire activity recorded on a disc, and they used to do that as opposed to using videotape back in the day. That was about the only thing that speed was any good for, just because, well, you can see the artifacts on that picture. It's pretty bad. And then I did another recording in XP just to compare. Oh, see? Maybe the disc has got some problems, or it had some reading problems there. Okay, so it's having trouble reading the disc. Interesting. I just wiped off the disc, see if it's any better now. I think there was just a smudge on the disc. I didn't check it. There was a smudge on the disc itself. So now it's playing this portion okay. Go to the next one, which was this one. I did the same thing. This is obviously a recording that's got a lot of movement in it, a lot of motion. So this should make the encoder really have issues as we went down through the different speeds to record the same thing. You can see how rough the picture's getting as the bit rate on the disc drops. And this is precisely why I did this disc, so that you can see the difference. And I've showed you this. I did this comparison a while ago. SLP. Like I recorded like a minute on each speed just to show what it did. Yeah, that's the 10-hour speed. And as you can see, the picture is leaves a lot to be desired. What is this one? Same thing. It's 10-hour speed. And then I went to a different tape. This would have been off of an HDV tape. In the 1-hour speed, the best quality speed for DVD. And as you can see, the picture's not too bad. I did the same recording through the different speeds. Oh, this was a different recorder, actually. This part was made with a different, it's still a Toshiba, but it was a different recorder because it did not have the super long speed on it. I think I took the disc out and put it into another Toshiba recorder because they can before you finalize it, can recognize other recordings made by Toshiba. Because this one only had the SLP speed, not the super long speed. This only had this 6-hour speed. But as you can see, when you go down to that low bit rate, the picture isn't great. But anyway, this is playing this disc, no problem. Let's try some more. I wonder what flip is for. It's got a button on it that says flip. Huh. I wonder what that's for. Is that for a dual-sided DVD? Interesting. I'll have to try one of those. I do have a dual-sided DVD which has the letterbox version on one side and the pan and scan on the other. I'm curious, does it play both sides of those type of discs? Well, let's find out. Let's find out. This is the disc here. It's Lethal Weapon, although it's a stamp disc, so it might have trouble playing it. But as you can see, this one has a movie on both sides. So it has widescreen version and it has regular version. Let's just let's see what happens. I'm curious whether it's going to play this disc because it's got this button on the front that says flip. I don't know what it does. Of course, I'm referring to that button right there. So it's playing the movie. What happens when I push flip? It says this has been modified to fit your screen, right? This is the pan and scan version. So I'm going to press the flip button. No. It turned the disc around and it's loading it in from the other side. Holy crap. It spun it around and it's playing it. It took the disc around. I saw it spin all the way around and it loaded it in from this side. And now it's playing the widescreen version. I'll flip it again and you guys watch the mechanism go. Flip. Here it goes. Okay. Now I've seen everything. Now I've seen everything. There's your message saying it's the 4x3 version. That is kind of wild, actually. Certainly the flippable DVDs were out there with movies. That was in the early days when they would put both versions of the movie on one disc. I don't think that lasted very long, but it was out there for a little while. I'm going to load some. Oh, we'll try a CDR. We'll try a couple different CDRs here, and we'll hit play on this one. We'll try 2 different CDRs. I should probably load them both at once, but I'm going to load a bunch of stuff in here in a minute just to see how it works. But so far so good. I don't know why it wouldn't play the Friends disc. The only thing I can think of is that if I look at this disc here, I see almost like a watermark here, almost like the disc itself is damaged. You see that? See this shadow? This is a dual layer disc. I don't know whether the disc itself is cannot play this side of the disc. Okay. Why is it? It's going to spin around and flip the disc. Now mind you, this disc is a disc that has a few scratches on it. What the hell is that? It just sounds like the wind just picked up big time. I'm going to open the garage door and see. Holy crap! Yeah? Holy crap! I gotta get a picture of this. Literally, we have cloudburst. Like, it was sunny. Literally, I just got home and it was sunny, and now I'm getting a pond in my front yard. Literally. There's my neighbor's downpipe from their second story, which is not a very big roof. And the water is just coming out of here by gallons per minute. It's just coming down in buckets. And we weren't even supposed to have a storm today. They said showers. This is not showers. This is a downpour. This is a cloudburst. That was weird. You know, as fast as it started, the rain is now kind of calmed down a bit, but man, it came down there pretty heavy for a few minutes. You would think we were in Florida or something with a hurricane approaching. I probably shouldn't joke about that because we sometimes get high winds here, and it's never we don't get the hurricanes. We haven't had one since 1962 here, but we've had some pretty high winds. We've had almost hurricane force winds, and certainly gusts have been into the hurricane force gusts. So this just doesn't want to play. So we know that it won't play that particular type of CDR. It might be due to the scratches on here, but every other player seems to play this one just fine. So we'll try a different brand of CDR. I'll try one of these nice dark discs and see whether it will play that one. It may not play CDR at all, because it may not have. Yeah, you see, I bet you this unit does not have a dual laser. I bet you this unit is only using a red laser. I haven't looked to see whether it has a dual frequency laser in it or not, but it may only have a single frequency red laser. DVD players that only have a single frequency red laser in them can play DVD, usually DVD-R, and they can play CDRW, but they cannot read CDR because the wavelength of the light is too small and it goes right through the dye layer. In other words, the dye layer that was used on CDR is only opaque to the lower wavelength or the longer wavelength of infrared. The shorter wavelength of the red laser goes right through it, and it appears like there's no disc. And that's what it's done with both of these. I guess I could confirm that if I can actually see down in here and see if the laser is lighting up red when it attempts to play. So maybe I will try that. I'll take a look and see if I can see it. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this to you guys or not. I'm going to grab my other camera, which I can get down here low. It is a red laser that is trying to play. I'll show you guys with my other camera because I can see it through here. I can see the red laser trying to focus on the audio CD.
Yeah, see that little red spot? I've got it playing a CDRW now. There is the red laser playing, and it's a CDRW because you can play CDRW on a DVD player that only has a single red laser. And there it is playing it. This one's never going to play CDR ever.
The advantage of having a second camera is that I can haul a second camera out when I need to get another shot without having to take this one off the tripod. So now we know the capabilities and the limitations of this machine itself. Obviously I can't put CDRs in. That kind of makes this one useless to me. I guess I could use it. I could load up 300 of my regular stamped CDs and use my 200 disc changer to play my CDRs. But the thing is, I have a lot of CDRs that I've recorded over the years. I have a lot of regular CDs as well, so it's kind of, am I going to keep this one or am I going to sell it? I was going to say this would be a great one to have, but I just ran into that limitation that it will not play CDRs. That's a problem, because I have so many CDRs. But the only thing I can think of that this might actually be useful is I have, well, yeah, they're on CDR or DVD-R. I have a bunch of discs that I use for test discs of scenery and stuff. I could certainly load those to a machine like this and leave it on random playback, and it would just play one disc and another. See, the problem with a lot of commercial discs though is that commercial discs usually have to go to a menu, and if you couldn't really leave it on autoplay because it would just go to the menu and sit there. It's a neat machine, but again, some pretty severe limitations as to what type of disc it's going to play. I'll try the DVD Plus R disc that played in the 7000, whereas the DVD-R did not. The whole idea behind that was you could have it loaded with 300 discs and just throw a movie in. That was the whole point. But I should be able to spin this thing around. Oh, I know why. In the wrong mode. That's why it's not moving. Okay, so I'm going to load some discs here. I'll put this one in I'll put this one in disc 3, and I'll put the sound effects disc in here. Maybe I'll put this in disc 23 or 22, and I'll put this test disc in the next one over. I'll just put 3 more DVDs in, and then close. And what it should do is it should go and it should look at all the discs and see how many discs are in here. See, that's the thing with DVDs, it's going to go to the main screen. It's not going to autoplay. You're going to have to press a button. So using something like this as a video jukebox to have it play discs by itself, it's not going to work. And that picture doesn't look as good as I've seen off of other DVD players. The air show. Ah, here's my wife. She's carrying the cameras. That was mighty nice of me. Here, dear, you carry the camera with the big lens for stills. Because this is, I think, 1980. What did I say this was? 84 or 85? I forget what year this one is. She was pretty young back then. We'll try the next disc now. Let's see here. What's the next disc? That moves over to the next disc. Loads the disc in. This is another one I think that was on DVD. Yeah, this is recorded on DVD-R. This is a 1988 air show. This was recorded initially on Super VHS. The other one was on Betamax. On an old SL2000. And it was an HVC, I think it was either 2400 or 2800. This was a PVS 36 or PVS 350 that this was recorded on. This was the first of the full-size Super VHS cameras that Panasonic made that took a full-size tape and had a full-size transport. So it didn't have the mini drum that the VHS-C cameras and most VHS cameras had, the little mini drum with 4 heads on it. This one here was it was still a 4-head, but it had EP speed as well as SP speed. And it had a flying race head, so it actually had 5 heads. It had a flying race and 2 SP and 2 EP. And a full-size transport. It had that ugly G mechanism, the garbage one, with the one with the solenoid and the planetary gear to load and unload. That's what that camera had for a transport. I sold it years ago. I wish I'd kept it just because it would be a neat little collector's piece, but I sold it to the high school probably 25 or more years ago. They wanted a camera for their stagecraft crew, and I said, hey, I have a camera, that Super VHS. I sold it for, I think, $1,000. Got some money out of it. Okay, let's look at the next disc. So this one has a recording that was made on the Light-On DVD recorder. It gives you a nice little thumbnail clips. I like this recorder. It worked great when it worked. It would just be picky as to what DVDs and CDs it recorded, but this particular machine would record S-video CDs as well as standard video CDs, and it would do audio CDs as well. So it was called an all-right. It could do DVD -R, DVD plus R, CDR, and on CDR and CDRW, and on CDR and CDRW it could record audio CD, and it could record video CD and S video CD. Anyway, I'll show you guys this unit changing discs as I go to the next disc, which is disc 23. So you guys can watch this thing do its thing here. See if I can not be in the reflection. And it grabs the disc, takes the disc in, and plays it. And this is another one. This is the other test from the Toshiba recorder. We'll take it down to the next disc next, which is disc 22. So here it goes to disc 22. You can see the red laser come on there, because that's all it has is a red laser. And this is, what disc is this? This is an audio CD, sound effects disc. You can see audio CD, reading it with a red laser. Next disc. This one's the audio CD that's recorded on a CDR. Go to the next disc, and I killed some lights in here so you guys can see the operation a little better. There goes the disc back. For some reason it has to swing it all the way around and determine whether there's a disc there or not.
kind of slow at loading discs. The multi-disc changers that had the disc operation in the back were a lot quicker than this one. And indeed it is. You see, if you put an audio CD in, it automatically plays it. But if you put a DVD in, it goes to the menu and you've got to press a button either on the remote or on the front of the machine. This is a DVD plus R disc that is playing. So it plays DVD-R, it plays DVD plus R. I'm sure it plays DVD-RW and plus RW just fine. I guess we can try that and see if it does support that. It supports CDRW with audio. It does not support CDR. That's the limitation of this one. And some discs, it just says, no, not going to play it. Now, I don't know whether there's something with this disc. If you look at it, it almost looks like there's like a shadow there, whether this disc is incorrectly manufactured or deteriorated. It is a store-bought disc. I didn't buy it. It was in a DVD player that was given to me. And that is that. I have 3 more discs I'm going to try on this. You see I've got this one marked Do Not Erase. Little Vancouver Aquarium disc demo in VCD mode. It's on a CDRW. We know that this can read CDRW. Will it read a VCD? A video CD on CDRW. It should, because it can read CDRW audio, so it should read this just fine. Oh, error code C1300. Whatever that means. I guess it can't play this disc. I know the disc is fine. So it won't play a VCD burned to a CDRW. Next we're going to try, I've got a DVD plus RW and a DVD-RW. We'll try the DVD plus RW first. I'm just putting these in the easy load bay just because I don't have to wait for it to spin around and determine if there's a disc in there or not. So there goes the DVD plus RW. Let's see if it'll read it. Patiently waiting. I hear something going on. I can hear the laser doing something, but I don't see a picture. So I'm going to say no. It's going to try to play the other side of it. Really? It can't play it. It can't play. It cannot play a DVD plus RW. We'll try a DVD-RW on it next. I've got to get my disc back because it decided it was going to just turn it around to the back. Remove that one. I'll throw in a DVD-RW, and these discs are in good shape. They're not scratched or anything. These have been kept in a case all these years. We'll see if it'll play this one, and that will conclude my little test. There it goes. It's sucked in the disc, and there you go. It is. Look at that. You're viewing an archival backup of a DVD from 321 Studios. Anybody remember that software? 321 Studios? I think it was called DVD Shrink, was it not? And you could make a DVD backup of any disc. It was kind of cool. I probably can't let this thing play for more than a few seconds. It's a James Bond movie. Oh, this is behind the scenes. So this is probably okay to show this for a few seconds. This was the making of Die Another Day is what this was. Kind of cool. Helicopter shots and stuff. Always like the behind the scenes stuff for movies that they included on DVDs. Anyway, it's playing a DVD-RW. It's not playing DVD plus RW. It plays DVD-R and plus R, no problem. And of course, regular DVDs if the discs are okay. But as we saw, it rejected that Friends disc. It does not play a VCD on a CDRW, but it does play audio on CDRW. So this is kind of a hit and miss machine of what it can play for compatibility. For me, I don't know how useful it is because I guess I could use this as a CD changer for my purchased, stamped, pressed, or however you want to call it, discs, and put all my CDRs into the other players, whether I want to put that in service or not, just to use as a CD player. I have to decide. Or I could sell it to someone else, I guess. But
DVD player wise, again, it's fine. It'll play all the discs. So for that matter, I could load a bunch of DVDs into this thing. If you want to load all your movies into it and have all your movies on tap so that you can just play them by pushing a button, this is a great unit for that. And the price was right. And that's always important. Anyway, I guess I'm going to close this one off now. This is a little look at this 300 disc DVD changer that I got. And I guess this one was an okay score because it was free. Thanks for watching.